14 years ago, I was introduced to Relive. What happened is I had been diagnosed with chronic constipation, and I was told by a friend of mine that I'd get some results with the products. So I tried the products, and I had results. Felt great, and I said, wow, nothing else had worked for me. I had this problem my entire adult life, so I decided at that time actually just to buy in and became a distributor, figuring I was going to take these products for the rest of my life. And my husband started taking them at the same time because he likes to copy me, and didn't he get results as well about the same amount
Wendy,
of time?
hold on a second. I'm going to mute all the lines.
Sure.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So he was actually suffering with IBS, and so he had the opposite problem I had. We both got results with the same products. So we were thrilled. And then much to my surprise, I had results with sciatic pain that I had for 30 years. It just went away. I can't even tell you when it went away. It was within a few months after starting the product. It has never returned. And we've both, my husband and I, have had results with allergies. And I am allergy-free, but he still has, a few times where they'll kick up. But what he's doing now is he's taking the Lunarich capsules, and those are helping him. So, and speaking of that, since taking those capsules, we have both realized that probably in the last 6 months, and we don't know when this happened either, that when we get up in the morning, we get up ache and pain-free, like no aches or pains. We're just fluid, which is just amazing to me. But our most exciting story is when my husband, he went into congestive heart failure in the middle of the night one night, and what happened is they discovered the next day his mitral valve had decided not to work properly, and that caused the fluid back up. And they said they had to do open heart surgery. We had to decide on what type of valve to replace the valve with. And they did the catheterization to check his arteries. He had a family history of heart disease. He lost his mother, his father, and a sister at the age of 47 to heart disease. So much to the doctor's surprise, when they did that, they found that there were no blockages. So we were excited about that. But they did have to do the surgery. So they went in, and the surgeon was thrilled that he found a lot of nice, healthy tissue in there. So he was able to repair the valve rather than replace it. So everything was going our way, which was great. So then we, after the surgery, he came home on about the 6th day, which is about normal. We went back to the surgeon 4 weeks later, and the surgeon said, "You're all set. You don't have to come back and see me again." And I said, "When can he drive?" He said, "Oh, he can drive now." I was a little anxious because we own a septic pumping company. And Buddy's my husband, by the way. He is the only driver. We only have one truck. And so literally we were out of business. He was able to drive in 4 weeks' time. And the doctor said that he could go back to work with no restrictions March 1st. That was less than 3.5 months from surgery. And no restrictions, meaning his work is very labor-intensive, where he does a lot of digging, pulling the covers, hauling hose. We're talking a lot of weight and a lot of strain. And he has had no problems. He's been healthy as a horse ever since. And we're just thrilled about this product because, you know what? If that happened to him and he wasn't able to get back to work like he did, then we probably would be out of business. And I really chalk all of this up to good nutrition that gave Buddy a great immune system so that he healed very fast.
That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about your allergies. You both had allergies. What were they to, and what happened?
Well, I had allergies all my life. Buddy got his later in life. So, and I was one of those kids where they thought I had a cold all the time, and they gave me a lot of antibiotics, and then as a result of that, I have an allergy. Well, I used to have an allergy to antibiotics. I don't even know where that stands now because I never have to take them. But I had animal allergies, which meant like if I was near cats or horses or even dogs, that I would break out, my skin would break out, my eyes would itch, and it was just horrible. And so I have 3 big dogs that I absolutely love, and now I can hug them and be near them and not have any trouble at all. I can also go visit friends who have cats. I could never be in a house with a cat that a cat lived in for more than 15 minutes, and then my throat would literally start to constrict. So that, it'd be a 15-minute visit, and then I'd be out of there. I went to visit a friend. She had 7 cats in the house because she was fostering cats, and she told me to take my allergy pills before I came over, and so I decided, you know what, I don't think I need my allergy pills, and I went over there, and I was there for 3 hours, and I didn't have one symptom.
Wow.
I was blown away. So, big change in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wendy, thank you. Appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, we're heading up to Michigan, and we have Shirley, Alaska with us tonight. And Shirley, we'd love you to share some of what's happened for you and Bill.
Sure, I'd love to. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm Shirley, Alaska from Westland, Michigan. My journey goes back a little over 10 years ago. I was facing hip surgery. I had metal rods the size of a pen or a pencil, 3 in each hip. It happened when I was a youngster. Long story there, but fast forward here, the doctor had told my parents she cannot keep those rods in all her life, and arthritis is going to set in, so it did, and as I was getting up there in age, the arthritis was just horrifying, and I would go and get on naproxen and muscle relaxers and just painkillers and just to, make do. Well, anyway, I went to the orthopedic surgeon and waited for about an hour and a half, and he saw me, and he said, Shirley, I cannot do anything for you now. The best I can do is surgery, and he pulls his book over, and I thought, no way, I wasn't ready for this. And he said, no, I'm serious. You need surgery because I refuse painkillers for you. And I got up, I started limping out of his office, discouraged, depressed, disappointed. He stopped me at the door wall, Bill, and he said, Shirley, you will be back. The pain's only going to get worse instead of better. I thought, oh my gosh, how could he say that to me? I didn't know what to do. In fact, we didn't even have hospitalization at the time. And but that's when a friend of mine had called me up, and I know it was an answer to prayer, and he said, Shirley, you need to hear what I have a hold of. It may be for you, it may not be, but come and take a look. And I was very skeptical, but it was Relive, and I went and I listened and I heard, and I was amazed at these stories. And I thought, boy, if I could get some relief or some hope, that would be, an answer to prayer. So I got on the products and into the business at the same time, blind faith, and started getting an energy and a peace just the second day of on these products. Put aside all my vitamins, and I was on handfuls of vitamins, Bill, and I could not swallow pills. So this was really a joy, knowing it was just a powder. And I started drinking these shakes and listening to a lot of stories. It's these stories that really made me confident enough to keep taking these products. And within 4 to 5 months of taking these shakes, and I did add a functional formula, Arthefect, for the joint issues because I knew I had a lot of arthritis. It was like the pain was lifting, and finally it was just like gone. Relive literally gave me 6 years of pain-free. But then, Bill, I normally don't share this part. I took a fall, a very hard fall on the concrete, and I knew I landed on my left hip, which was the worst one. So, of course, I took a lot more Relive, of course, but it really didn't do, and I knew I needed surgery. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just get the left one done. And my orthopedic surgeon said, well, no, you need them both done. And I said, well, doctor, I only have pain in the left hip. I'm only going to do one hip. He didn't like that, but of course he did. And I took my Relive products with me to the hospital. I took them right up until midnight of the night of surgery. Didn't even listen to what they had to say because, of course, they tell you don't take any vitamins or anything before surgery. But I knew it was just good food. And, Bill, I'll tell you, the doctor said, I've never seen anything like it. You blew through that surgery. And he rolled his eyes when I told him, well, yeah, I'm on this good nutrition. He didn't want to hear it. But, again, that really made me feel wonderful knowing that even today, as we speak, I still have the rods in the right hip. And because of these products, I am pain-free, and I'm in awe, and I thank the Lord every day. But I did have a lot of other health issues. Allergy shots I was ready to get, never did get allergy shots. And we had to pay $500 out of pocket because that's what the allergists wanted, just to be able to get tested for it. And said there's like 3 pages of foods you cannot eat. And I never did stop any of the foods. I just got on these products of Relive, and I can eat anything I want. My allergies are under control, which is another blessing. I had blood pressure issues. Those were under control because of these products. And my husband literally was playing hockey, and he had no cartilage in his knees, and he was very skeptical, but he thought, well, what if maybe they would help me? And I made him a couple of shakes and added the Arth Effect, and he got results with his knees. And migraine headaches he used to get, and he would have no energy. He'd come in from work and just plop to the couch, and that's a thing of the past. But Bill, just to share with you real briefly, about a month ago, he started bothering his back, my husband, and he ended up having a ruptured disc. And oh my gosh, we didn't even know it. And I just kept giving him Relive, but it wasn't really working like it should. And I thought, well, something's wrong. And he got an MRI, and the MRI says that you have a ruptured disc. You have fragments. Orthopedic surgeon says you have fragments sitting on your nerve canal, and you've got to get that, removed. He's never even seen anything like it. And I thought, oh my gosh. So we took it seriously and gave more Relive products in him, and especially those capsules. And Bill, it's like a miracle, because to have to have back surgery and to have my husband recoup so quick and so fast, it's another miracle. We will always be taking these products, but because these products work so well and I couldn't keep my mouth shut, a business was born, and I started earning a paycheck every month with the company. And I had a high month, earned a $1,000 cash bonus with the company. They made me key director and added $500 to that. And I moved over, $22,500 in products. And with that, I walked away with over $3,000 in a calendar month. Bill, you can bet I will never stop sharing and helping people with these products.
That's great. Thank you, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you coming on and sharing tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, now we're heading over to another part of Michigan, and we're heading over to see Joan Jensen. And Joan, we'd love you to share some of what's happened for you.
Well, good evening, Bill and everyone, and I'm so excited to share my story this evening. I do live on the west side of Michigan, on the coast of Michigan, Lake Michigan, and I've actually been using the Relive products now for over 20 years. About 28 years ago, I was in a chemical industrial accident at work, and that changed my life forever. And we started searching through the medical community, going from doctor to doctor, and this included Mayo Clinic, and I never found any help. And so I slipped into chronic fatigue, and I also had what they call multiple chemical sensitivities. And I couldn't go on any longer, so at the age of 51, I came home to recover my health. That was my plan. And instead, I ended up pretty much on the couch for a whole year. And at the end of that year, we were introduced to Relive. My husband and I both got started on it. My husband was a diabetic, and so my results were just an explosion of energy. I started with a classic in the fiber store, just 2 shakes a day. And within that third day, I was up off the couch. I felt like I had my life back, and I saw that, the blurred vision disappear, that I was losing my eyesight. I had been down to about 4 foods the doctors wanted me to eat, something like zucchini and watermelon. So I was very malnourished, and when Relive came in to my life and I started taking the shakes, they were just life-changing. And that brain fog lifted. Before that, I never even wanted to go to the door or to answer the phone, but that changed for me dramatically. And I started sharing it right away, but the rest of my health story is that I had also a reflux that was just burning up my whole insides, and that started to diminish, and I was able to start eating foods again. And the chemical sensitivities also diminished, so much so that I could now appear more in public. Like when I would go through to the grocery store, I could walk through the soap aisle and the cleaner aisle without holding my breath. And before that, I wouldn't even go near that aisle unless I absolutely had to. And I was very skeptical too about using the products, because I had been using other nutritional products, but those results were just life-changing for me. And so we did become distributors right away. And my husband's results as a diabetic, being a diabetic for 20 years, he saw his insulin was able to be reduced by 60% over that first year taking the product. He also was able to avoid surgery on his shoulder. He had been diagnosed with osteoarthritis in the rotary cuff of the shoulder and was looking at surgery just to help reduce the pain levels. And that once the Dr. Carl developed the artifact and we put that into our shakes. That never had to happen. He never had to have that surgery. And he also used our Ultram at the time, which is now our Simplicity, and lost 30-some pounds. So by the end of that first year on the products, in about 9 months, we just absolutely had our lives back, and we looked 10 years younger. And it was so exciting because I was able to start sharing within that first week. We became distributors, and by the end of the month, we went to the top profit level. We were actually looking for an opportunity because we were in the process of building a new home when I took early retirement. And we had a huge overrun on our home. And so a great share of our income that we were going to use for retirement, over $100,000, we had to spend on the home. And so we were looking for, another avenue of income for our retirement years. And when we got started with the Relive, the very first month, I had an income of $500, and by the fourth month, that was at $2,000. And after attending an international conference and getting to see the company and, listening to Dr. Ted when he stood at a podium and spoke for over 40 minutes to us, I just saw this as a quality company and a company that I could trust. And I've seen that through the years. The company's never let me down. The products have never let me down. And so we built an income, and we worked very hard for 8 years, and we built it to the senior director level. And so our royalty income was at least $2,500 a month. And our highest month was over $8,600. We were number one in the nation and received that $5,000 bonus, which was pretty exciting, and other bonuses. And so we worked it very hard for 8 years, like I shared, and then I took off time because I had turned 60 at that point and needed time, for my family. My daughter got married. I wanted to be there for our grandchildren, and my mother spent more time with my mom. And so we were able to do that, and I never worked or shared or did much of anything with business. Took the focus on and put it on my family. And so the company has sent me a check every month for the 20 years that I've been doing the business. And now that I'm in a new area and starting to share it again, like I shared, the product and the opportunity is always available to share with people, and I love doing that. And just one more thing, adding the Lunarich X to my regimen when that came out a year and a half ago for me, I started. It made a difference with my chemical sensitivity so that I can live a much more normal life, and I never expected that again because it gave me the opportunity not to be worried about appearing in people's homes or being so concerned about what I was going to eat. And that helped my brain to work quicker. And that is just absolutely amazing for me. And it improved my eyesight so much that I can sit at the computer and work without my glasses. And I'm now in my early 70s. I take no medication, and I can live pain-free. And I love sharing Relive with the people.
That's great, Joan. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Let me just double-check and see if Jill made it in. I didn't hear her check in earlier. Okay, well, we're just going to go ahead. I have one more guest for you tonight, and oh, what a pleasure. I get to introduce you to Rosemary Bell. Rosemary is a Presidential Bronze Ambassador with Relive, a big title, but it means she's helped a lot of people all over the country, and who knows where all. Relive's in 19 countries, and this thing takes a life of its own, can go all over the place. But Rosemary's had some great results. She's been a wonderful blessing to a lot of people, and it's our pleasure to have her share for us tonight. So, Rosemary, we'd love you to do that.
Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate what a nice introduction. So I love to share with you. I love sharing my story with people. I even have a hard time believing that all these things have happened to me in the past 12 years. Relive has just so much changed my life. When I first heard about Relive, a friend of mine from high school had called from Florida. I live in St. Louis where Relive is, but nobody in St. Louis ever talked to me about it. But Debbie was originally from St. Louis, but she heard about it from somebody in Florida also. And she called one day. She had been on the products already 6 years. And she asked me, how are you doing? And that was just the key thing, I guess, because I was embarrassed to tell her that I wasn't doing well financially with my health, emotionally, and just every which way that you can imagine. I had lost my job at Hewlett-Packard about a year and a half before this happened, and I was about to lose my home, and I was about to lose my eyesight because I had macular degeneration. And Debbie called me about 3 times, and I just kept turning her down because I couldn't afford a month's supply of the products. So I did go ahead and finally go to a presentation. She called like 4 times, and I thought, well, what if this was what I was looking for, and what if this is what I needed in my life? So when I went to this presentation, there was a retired nurse that completely got rid of macular degeneration, and her story really, really impressed me. And there was another gentleman there making $15,000 a month that said that if I clicked into their system there, that he would help me. And he wasn't even in my line of sponsorship. And I was really touched that night by both of those people. They have become great friends of mine over the years, and I owe a lot to them. But to my sponsor too, because she's the one that turned me on to this. And I got involved, and I maxed out my last 2 credit cards and jumped in. I wanted the best price for the products, and I wanted to tell everybody about them. And I got on the products myself, and within days, my headaches went away that I had every day. My depression lifted very quickly. I was feeling really a lot better and had better clarity, and I had a future, and I had a lot of happiness ahead of me instead of just depression now. And as I continued taking the products, I got off of my blood pressure medicine, my hormone replacement, my thyroid medicine, and I never had to take anything to sleep at night anymore. And my eyes improved in just 3 short months. And then a year later, when I went back, my eye doctor could not find a trace of my macular degeneration. And my eyes have improved 9 times out of 12 and stayed the same 3. And I just think that's amazing, because as you get to be in your mid-60s, that's not supposed to happen. But it has for me. And I am just so grateful that my friend did not give up on me. And I did go ahead and build a big business with this, because I just looked at this as this was my purpose in life. This was an avenue that I could help people. And when I put people on these products and help them get great results and help them feel better and help them make an income, when they're having a difficult time like I was, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. It's better than the money. So I went ahead and got my parents on the products, my very first month, because my mom had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. My dad had bone arthritis. And my mom, was cancer-free within 3 months, and she did no chemo or radiation. Her cancer had come back for the 3rd time. It wasn't stage 4, but she, was faced with taking chemo or, doing nothing. And the doctors recommended that she do nothing because they were afraid the chemo would kill her faster than her cancer. So when she was cancer-free within 3 months, that was just a really happy day of my life. And today my mom is 89 years old, and she just goes like the Energizer Bunny. And I will forever, share these products with people and the business opportunity, because, like I said, it's just very, very rewarding. My dad regrew new cartilage on both of his knees and avoided knee replacement. And I literally have helped thousands of people, and I've sponsored about 102 master affiliates personally. I just recently sponsored somebody this month that is really, really excited about this, and she wants to go all over the world. And we're meeting on Tuesday to draw out her plan of action to go ambassador. Not just how to build a business, but how do I go ambassador. So it's so exciting to sponsor people like that. It just makes it so much more fun and exciting. So, I've been on 49 all-expense-paid trips with the company. And when I first started this business on my very first month, my goal was to make $1,000 so I could keep my home, because I was faced with the real difficult decision to put it up for sale, because after a year and a half of being unemployed, I just could not afford my payments anymore. And I had a beautiful home, and I didn't want to give it up. And so I wanted to work real hard to make $1,000. I did everything that my upline told me to do. I listened. I didn't agree with everything, but I wasn't comfortable calling people to do follow-ups, but I did them, and I got comfortable with doing that. I actually love doing follow-up calls now. And when I did that, my business always did well. And my first month that I introduced this to 18 people, I made $4,000. And that meant I got to keep my home and put some money in savings, and that was just really exciting. And I can truly tell you that that really helped with my depression, too, because it was gone. There's been a big smile on my face since the first month that I've been in Relive, and it's never gone off. And the depression has never, ever creeped back up on me either, because I have so much to look forward to. I continue sharing this with people just on a very regular basis, a couple new people every month. And I never went to a MAP school without, one or two new master affiliates from one MAP school to the next. And, I just have always stayed very consistent. And doing that on my 2-year anniversary date, I hit the level of presidential ambassador, and my income that month went up to $12,000. I've had some months as high as $14,000, and I enjoy traveling with Relive because it's with fun people, and you go to beautiful places like Maui and Bermuda and Disney cruises, and I've just been to a lot of places that I probably would never have gone to if I was still working at my other job. So I think I'm going to keep doing this, Bill. I haven't had to work a real job since I was 48, and that was over 14 years ago.
Wow. That's wonderful. What a change in your life, and the change you've helped bring about in a lot of people's lives. Now, your business has gone from St. Louis to where? Where all does it cover these days?
Oh, gosh, it's really hard to keep up with that. I have to look on dashboard all the time, but it's into 3 other countries, and Canada, I guess, was the first one, and England, and I think there's a few people in Malaysia. It's people who knew people. I personally sponsored somebody in Canada. So, yeah, it's gone to a lot of different places. It's out of control.
That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You help a few people and teach them how to help a few people. Well, it's interesting. I mean, you've had wonderful results. I mean, the macular degeneration results are awesome. To be able to have the vision you have today is dramatic. But you got started in the business. You were in a tough place physically, financially, unemployed for a year and a half, about to lose your home, depressed. And so, how did you start sharing Relive? Well,
I just listened to what my upline told me and listened to what I learned in MAP schools and from other distributors. And, I basically, I keep it very simple. If I, flip up a conversation with somebody, no matter where I am, I might smile at them and say, hey, how are you today? And, I just don't do it like cold turkey. I form relationships with people first. And, and a lot of times when I just keep asking them about them, they'll say, well, what do you do? Or how are you doing? And then I just, I talk to them. But when they tell me that, they have, they get migraines all the time, or they're all stressed out because they don't know how they're going to make their house payment next month, I just say, well, how long's that been going on? And I get more information from them. I don't jump right in to say, hey, let's take care of that. I got a product for you or whatever. I just don't do that. I just really get to know them a little bit more. And then I look them straight in the eye and I go, are you open to hearing about a solution for that? Or are you open-minded? And, nobody wants to say that they're closed-minded. Nobody likes to say that. So most of the time I get a yes from that. And then I say, okay, well, I've got to go right now. I've got something to share with you that you will really, really like. I guarantee you will like this. When can we get together for a cup of coffee? Or how about lunch tomorrow? Or, how about coming Tuesday evening to see a presentation about it? And, I don't really have any problems finding new people. I go to networking meetings and meet people, because when you go to a networking meeting, everybody's there to give each other referrals. And a lot of times it's not those actual members that belong to the networking group that I sponsor, but everybody can give me referrals of somebody that they know that's struggling with health or financial issue.
Right. Well, the bottom line is really caring about other people. I mean, that's why you ask the questions. We don't go out and sell Relive. We go out and show a genuine interest and care for other people. And as they begin to open up and share their heart, then we have that opportunity to begin to show the Relive story. And that's what you've done. And it's certainly made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. And you've built friendships all over the place.
Right. And that's the fun part, getting to know people. And like I took a new master affiliate. I drove out to Dayton, Ohio, to go to their mat school out there because I had a master affiliate that had a prior commitment. I couldn't go here in St. Louis. And one of the big reasons I wanted to go out there too is because one of my friends, it has become one of my best friends, Diane Helmhold, was teaching the class. And I just wanted to watch her teach a mat school, and it was just very fun and exciting. So I'm glad that I went.
There's so many side benefits to lifelong friendships. Are certainly one of them. Those of us who are active in Relive built some amazing friendships, and most of us could go into a lot of states in this country, and within a few minutes be connected to someone that we've built a relationship with. So that's definitely a huge blessing. But the checks of the heart are huge. Imagine the people who introduced the people on this call to the product and to the business. It grabs your heart when you see other people's lives changed. You've had an opportunity to do that a lot. So Rosemary, someone says, I'd like to build a Relive business. I like the idea of helping people. What's the first thing they need to be doing?
Well, the first thing is get them on the product. They have to become a product of the product. And I track their results just like I would, if a new customer got started. And then I ask them what they want out of Relive, what do they expect. And then, if they say, well, I would like to make an extra $500 a month, I draw out a plan of action to do that. And, of course, this is the last week that we can sign people up at the master affiliate level for the $3,000 level. And I'm just talking like crazy to people about what a great opportunity that is to do this month. Right. And, if they can't and they end up, coming in next month, that's okay too. It's just going to be a lot easier to be at that master affiliate level quicker, if they can do it by the end of January. And then I ask people how much time and effort do you want to put into this? What are your expectations? And I know how to, draw out a plan of action for them. They want to build a big business, just enough to, make a few hundred. It's just such a flexible business that, and I always warn them that if they tell me they only want to make 200 or 500, I'm going to be honest with them and say, well, you can definitely do that, but when you get it built to that level, it's probably going to go to 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 because of the work and effort that you put into it just to make the 200 to the 500. Because a lot of times you don't know if the people that you bring in want this more than you do, and we're not ever going to hold anybody back.
Exactly. Yep, you never know what someone's going to do with this thing. There's all kinds of people who didn't expect much out of Relive, and to their surprise, some wonderful things have happened. Once people get excited about Relive and they start sharing with other people, multiplication kicks in, and this thing takes a life of its own. Well, I so appreciate you joining us tonight, Rosemary. Thanks for coming on and sharing. We certainly appreciate you very much.
Well, thanks for asking me, Bill.
Thank you. All right, well, we're going to wrap up there for tonight. It's certainly a pleasure. I so appreciate people sharing from their heart. That'll do it for tonight. I'm going to close the call.